And good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are tuned in from. Welcome to another episode of What Now? We keep going. It is November 9th, and I still have guests that are willing to join me for these talks. So yeah, let's get it on. Let me see who's all coming in here today. It is another Monday evening over here in Amsterdam, still in the middle of a lockdown. And I have a really great guest today. I'm very excited to talk to him. I see he's already in here, DJ Prince. So I am going to get him in here. Let's see. And then he can introduction himself, so to speak. Thank you all for joining us. Hype, welcome. Ronte, welcome. Respect the Shooter, welcome. And of course, welcome DJ Prince.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good.
You are so on time.
That's a good thing.
I know that shows character. I like
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
I like it.
Yes,
How
ma'am.
are you doing? Where are you actually located?
I am located in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh, really? My cousin lives there.
Really?
I've been to Indianapolis 2 years ago for the first time, and it was something else.
Wow. Wow. Do you know what you were here for?
Well, I went to, I was in the summertime. I went to visit my cousin and her husband. And
Okay.
obviously I've seen the Indy 500 and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we went to, I think it was the county fair, which was really weird. It was,
Right.
Yeah, I felt very out of place there. But it was good. Actually, I'm lying. It's the second time I was there because I've been there before to visit her on a drive through through Indianapolis to Chicago. So yeah,
Okay.
it was my second time there, but I stayed there for like a week. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I didn't know you were there. I knew you were on East Coast time. So that was,
Yes, ma'am.
Indianapolis is East Coast time, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just excited to have you because first of all, you're the youngest guest that I've had so far. But
Wow.
also, but the funny thing is that, so this talk is about motivating people during this time and, you know, having people pretty much inspired to keep going no matter the pandemic and the industry being shut down. You as a DJ, obviously less places to, you know, spin at or to do your thing at as far as public and events is concerned. But your track record, your career is pretty much just as impressive as the old school people that I've had. So I'm very excited to have you here. So how is it for you? Yeah, no, I'm just happy that you replied to me with all your fans probably hitting you up all the time. I was very impressed by the fact that your knowledge of old school music is so on point. And with, you know, being a turntablist, which is, again, something else different than a DJ. Those two things are not necessarily the same. I had to just, you know, I was just like focused on your videos. Like, wow, this kid is so good. And you just had a birthday. So happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I had to adjust your bio. Like, no, wait, he's not 18 anymore. He's 19. But my first question, you know, seeing this What Now series is talking about the effects and the impacts of the pandemic. How has the pandemic impacted you personally and professionally?
It impacted me on pretty good level because I think that I needed time to sit down and actually talk with my family and actually get to see things differently that we were doing outside of our regular day that we normally would do. I got to sit and play with my brother than what I usually do because of if I'm traveling, I don't get to do that. Or if I'm working, I'm not getting to do that. So just getting to play games with him and reading with him, just teaching him different things and learning from him as well. Getting to watch TV and movies with my family. So it impacted me on a good level. And I actually graduated right before the pandemic. So that was like a bonus to that as well. So I feel like it impacted me on a pretty good level.
That's good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I see that your parents are very supportive of what you do. Being so young, how did it go with you as far as school? How did you find a balance of, pursuing your passion and, getting your education?
Well, I went to school up until I was 15, 16. And after that, I got homeschooled because I was traveling a lot.
Yeah.
So that played a key part in how I would move around and with me working and getting my education. So at first, I wasn't too sure about it, but I actually liked homeschool better than being in actual school because when I'm working and traveling, I get to do my schoolwork on the road,
Right.
and it would be easier than to miss a few days and then go back to school and have to catch up on the work that I was doing. So me getting homeschooled, I think that that it was good, and I know that a lot of students now are doing Zoom, so that's a
Right.
part of them doing homeschool as well. So I feel like if you are doing homeschooling, however you get your education, you have to be the right person for it, especially
Yeah.
with homeschool being in a closed off environment by yourself. But for me, education was always it played a big part in our household, and I knew that I couldn't do what I'm doing today if my education wasn't up to par,
Right.
because my mother is actually a special education teacher.
Okay.
And I have several aunts that have been principals at schools and that have taught in schools as well. So it's always been a major part
Right.
in my
The
life now.
family. So for you, that didn't really change much with the pandemic because you've been balancing that out pretty much the same way as how you've been doing, other than you not being able to travel as much now. Or I'm not sure how that is within the States, because I do see my friends in the States still traveling within the States. Have you
Right.
lost a lot of gigs or opportunities because of the pandemic?
Yes, I have. Yes, I lost a few, but some of them have been virtual. Like I'll do something on Zoom or I'll do something on Instagram Live. But I've lost quite a few gigs due to the pandemic.
Right. So how do you feel about that? What did that do for you? Because when I started this series, I started it because I saw a lot of people being all down and frustrated and depressed because, they're losing shows and tours and just opportunities.
Hmm.
And I wanted to basically help people and motivate them and inspire them by talking to people that are going through the same thing and seeing
Right.
if they can come up with solutions or ways to deal with it mentally as well as financially. So
Hmm.
how was it for you? How did you feel?
For me, at first, I was kind of upset a little bit because I love traveling. Even with me being a DJ, traveling is the plus side of it. With me being young, I get to travel and see the world.
Yeah.
And also I'm doing what I love. So I was a little upset about it at first, but then I had to sit down and realize that this is a time where I can better myself as a human outside of DJing. I get to learn different things, read different
Right.
things, talk with my family. So over time, I felt like that it was good to just actually sit down and see different things that I can do outside of my everyday life or
Right.
whenever I am traveling and working. So over time, I got past it, and I feel like that the pandemic was pretty good for me.
Well, in most of the talks, that is basically what everybody's been focusing on after that whole first hit. It's like, okay, well, I got to use this time wisely, work on
Right.
myself, work on my skills, or work on different skills, or, other opportunities and network, or just even just being sane, work on yourself mentally and physically.
Right.
You're still young. I keep saying it like I'm so old, but yeah, I could have been your mother. Uh, so I'm sure you obviously you bounce back easier than some of the older people that have been touring all their lives.
Hmm.
The traveling for you, um, do you feel like there's a difference now in your routine as far as health is concerned? Like, because I know when you tour, your hours are crazy. You have the crazy flights and the crazy
Hmm.
food, routines. Has that
Right.
changed for you since you're more home?
Yes, it's changed a lot for me actually, because the schedule by itself has changed a lot, because when you are traveling, there's crazy hours where you may
Yeah.
stay up late or you may have a late show and you may not eat, or you may eat and it may be super late. So I think that the pandemic changed a lot in how you maneuver around the world as a person. And I think it changed for me by I was actually staying up a lot later than what I was used to, and what I would actually, the time that I would actually go to sleep. So it actually changed a lot for me.
So what time is your usual bedtime for yourself?
I normally try to go to sleep around 10:30, 11.
Oh, that's good.
But through the pandemic, it was like 2, 3, 4, 4:30,
So
maybe
basically,
5.
your hours are more off than when you were touring.
Yes, it was.
Because I know you started very young. I mean, it was around 14 when you first started, like, you know, doing the gigs and stuff, or flying around. Right. Am I correct? So
yes,
how did it go?
I started when I was 12, but I got my first out of town job when I was 14.
Right. And where was that?
Right.
Where was that first job?
That was in New York for Nike Air Max Day.
Oh, wow. You know, okay, I don't know if you see my feet, but I'm the biggest Nike Air Max fan. So I all my shoes are Nikes. I only wear Nikes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Air Max ones, preferably. I recently bought a few 90s, but yeah, it's trust me. So me hearing that your first gig was for Air Max Day is pretty awesome. Yeah.
I'm Nike all day. I'm Nike all day. Shout out to
so
Kid
how
Capri.
did that? Huh? Oh yeah, I saw him too. Shout out to Kid Capri, definitely. So did one of your parents come with you? Did they both come with you? How does that work when you're that young and having to travel for gigs?
Yes, my mom actually came with me for my first out of town job. And that was my first time going to New York. I had always wanted to go to New York, even before I even thought of DJing, before music was involved. It was just something about New York that touched me spiritually. I guess it was because I always seen it on TV, movies, television. Right. So yeah, New York was just always one place that I knew I had to get there somehow. And it was, unfortunately, it was music that brought me to New York. Yep.
And you got to go super young. Like, some people have to wait like 20, 30, 40 years before they can even go to exactly. New York.
Exactly.
And it, you know, as a hip hop fan, it breathes hip hop. It's the birthplace of hip hop. So for me, it was only natural to have set foot in New York, being a hip hop fan. Mm-hmm. I don't believe anybody could really truly love hip hop and not want to go to New York. So that's, right. To me, that doesn't match up. And then from that gig on, you got more gigs. People started booking you. And then, so your mom kept traveling with you, or is there any guardian that came with you?
Yes, my mother and my father, they actually flip-flop, depending on their schedule. So my mom and my dad, they work out the best that they can to come out with me. But they're very supportive.
That's so great. That's great. And what do you think are the biggest lessons that your parents gave you when they were like, okay, we support your passion, we want you to do this, but take care of this and this and that? What are some of the big lessons that they taught you or put on you?
Well, my dad, he tells me that he wants me to live life to the fullest, enjoy myself, be a kid as long as I can, and make sure that I have the trash can in the front of the house on Tuesday nights before I go to bed.
Unless you're out of town.
I'm sorry?
Unless you're out of town.
Yes, unless I'm out of town. So if I'm out of town with my mom, then my dad, he'll do it. He doesn't like doing it, but he'll do it. Right. But my mom, her lesson has just always been the same thing as my dad's, but my education comes first. If I'm not done with school, then I can't do this. If my grades aren't up to par, then I can't do this. So just those little lessons that keep me going. Right.
So when for you was the first time for you that you realized, oh my gosh, I actually am good at this, and people are actually fans of me and they support me, like big names? Because I've seen a couple of big names. I mean, people follow you, people are cheering for you, rooting for you. What was the moment when you were like, oh my gosh, this is for real? Can you remember
Well,
that?
there were actually two moments. The first moment was when I went to New York, and the second moment was when I opened for DJ Jazzy Jeff. I opened for DJ Jazzy Jeff, I think the week before I went to New York.
Oh,
So
really?
those were the two moments where I was like, in my head, I actually have, I guess, fans that are supporting me and actually know my name because they want me to come to New York. And I never even thought that this would be the way that I get to New York. And then DJ Jazzy Jeff is one of my mentors, and he's one of my favorite DJs. So me getting to open for him at such a young age, that was just another dream that came true at a young age.
Yeah. So how did Jazzy Jeff come? Did he hit you up? What happened? How did he know about you?
Well, he actually followed me on social media, I think when I was about 13. I'll never forget, I was on fall break, and when he followed me, Big Daddy Kane had actually reposted a video that I had done of one of his songs. And DJ Jazzy Jeff follows Big Daddy Kane, so he followed me off of that video. And I told my dad, I said, DJ Jazzy Jeff just followed me. I need you to come home right now, because my dad was at work. And my dad said, I can't come home just because someone followed you on social media. But he followed me from that. And I think a few months after that, maybe about half a year after that he followed, I knew that he was coming here for a show that he was doing. So the owner of the club, I had been going to the club, just getting backstage, meeting artists for about a year, I would say. And the owner
with? You're 13. Sorry? Who did you go to the club with backstage?
My dad. My dad was taking me. So
okay, just checking.
The owner of the club had let me know that he was doing a show, and he asked if I wanted to open for DJ Jazzy Jeff that night. So that's how I got to open for Jeff that night.
But now you guys are friends, obviously.
Exactly.
So that's amazing. Like, you know, I saw that you started super early with your love for music, and your parents obviously supported that. So you've been working on your skills for at least 10 years before you opened up for Jazzy Jeff, just so people get a good idea of, you know, this kid didn't just get lucky. He didn't just do a little, you know, a thing or scratch on the turntable and got booked. No, he's been doing that for 10 years before that even happened. I want people to understand that when you work on your skills and you keep practicing and practicing, and when you really study your craft, that's when things happen for you. It might not be the next day or the next year. It may take 10 or 20 years if you keep getting at it. Now, you're just lucky that you had supportive parents that were nurturing your skill. Not everyone has that. So that's really good. So what, you know, having all these people that you're now quote unquote friends with, or at least, you know, networking with, are there any people that you were like still blown away by, like, oh my gosh, this person sent me a message, or this is, you know, they asked me to do this or that, or gave me a compliment?
I think when I was younger, it affected me to know that certain people that I could reach out to would hit me back, not in an instant, but in a certain amount of time that I knew that they would hit me back. I think for sure it was Big Daddy Kane, Jazzy Jeff, of course, DJ Scratch, DJ Khaled, DJ Kid Capri, Michael B. Jordan. So being a young age and growing up and seeing them do what they do in their profession, and knowing that I can hit them or send them a message and they will hit me back, that was just baffling to me, just to know that was possible. Because I know in my dad's time, 30 years ago, direct messaging, you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that. Exactly. So being able to do that now is just, it's crazy. And to know that I can talk to them on a personal level, it's a great feeling.
And it's, you know what, it still baffles me as well, because I've been in this game for 20 years and, you know, doing my music journalism. I've interviewed a lot of the people that you've mentioned over here. I've met some of them a couple times, became friends with some of them. Actually, I may hit you up about Big Daddy Kane, because he's the only one that I've never been able to see, because every time he was in Amsterdam, I was out. I was flying somewhere.
Wow.
I still want to interview him. And so for me now, being able to do these interviews, even though it's supposed to be inspiring and motivating, all my interviews usually are. It still baffles me that I can reach out to somebody and say, hey, do you want to be a guest? Because I didn't know you, you know.
Exactly.
So and 9 out of 10 times, all my guests are people that I know or have had a previous relationship with in the industry. And so I'm just very grateful for this opportunity. Because again, like you said, in your dad's time, in my time, it was like, how do you get to these people? You can't, you only see them on TV in a video, or hear them on the radio, or maybe see them at a show. And for me, especially living in Europe, not everybody came tour over here. So and if they did, you got to be quick with a ticket, because they get sold out fast.
Yeah, they do.
It was a hustle. It was a hustle. So it's definitely good that you understand that that's still, you know, a powerful tool. And also, you know, we have to be grateful for the things that we can do in these times, not being able to go somewhere or do a show. And what are, tell me about Jermaine Dupri. You toured with him.
Right.
How did that happen?
Well, of course, Jermaine Dupri, he has the show called The Rap Game. And I think the first 3 seasons, the first people that were on the first 3 seasons of The Rap Game, I was on tour with. So Jermaine Dupri followed me off of Big Daddy Kane's post as well. And
Kane did a lot for you.
yes, he did. Yes, he did. And I'm very thankful for Kane, and I let him know that as much as I can.
Right.
So Jermaine Dupri followed me off of that post as well. And after the first 3 seasons of The Rap Game, he had direct messaged me and said that he was taking them on tour, and he wanted me to be the tour DJ for it. So I think he did about 2 more seasons after that. And in 2017, we picked up and we went to Atlanta, and that's how the tour got picked up. I think our first show was in Kentucky, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think it was in Kentucky. But that's how the tour came to life.
What is the last big gig that you had before the pandemic?
The last big gig that I had was in Paris, actually. I went to Paris for Paris
the Fashion Week thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So have you been to Amsterdam?
No, I have not. I would love to come to Amsterdam, though.
Right. Well, when everything opens up again, we're going to get you some gigs out here.
That sounds great.
We could get you a whole tour of Europe.
Great. I'm up for it.
If Corona, you know, dies down, then we should all be thankful to be able to travel again.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that you feel like you can still master? Because I know you, like I said, you DJ, you're turntablist, you produce. What are some of the things that you feel like you can still add to your skill set?
Definitely producing. Producing is, of course, is secondhand nature when it comes to DJing.
Right.
And there's always something more that you can learn when it comes to DJing. So producing, I would love to pick up an instrument, maybe piano, keyboard. Well, I'm actually already learning the keyboard, guitar, and I would love to do some acting. I would like to add acting to my list of things that I would like to master.
I think you can do it all. I think the instruments is very important for production. I don't know how big you are on sampling, or chopping samples that, you know, having the ear for instruments and live music definitely will help with that. But I have no doubt that you study all of that as well. Being 19 years old right now, I'm still impressed with the music choices you make. I can safely say that's the influence of your parents.
Yes, it is.
What to you is the biggest difference between music back then and music now?
I'm sorry.
What do you think, or is according to you the biggest difference between music back then and music
Mm-hmm.
right now?
Right now, I feel like music is it's a lot different from what it was back in the day because
Yeah.
there's a lot of sampling going on right now. A lot of songs that have been resampled a bunch of
Yeah.
times. Of course, James Brown. A lot of people sampled James Brown. So I think it's different. Today's era of music or today's genre of music, of course, is rap. Um, but I feel like everybody has a story to tell, and a lot of different lyrical content. Wants to be a storyteller, and everybody wants to tell their story of how they made it or what they're doing
Right.
to make it or what they're doing in life in general. But I feel like it's definitely different.
Do you feel like the passion or the goal has changed? Because if we specifically speak about hip hop, you know pretty well where it came from and how it
Mm-hmm.
started. And if we now look at the evolution of hip hop, talking about lyrical content and storytelling, I think there's maybe a lot more partying right now
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Yes, it
In
is.
contrast to the storytelling and the issues that are going on in the world. Do
Right.
you think the passion and the goal of making music has changed, or just perceived different?
I think I feel like it's a combination of both. I feel like it's perceived a little bit different because everybody is talking about something different now than what it
Yeah,
was 30
that's
years
true.
ago. And I do feel like the passion for it is different. I feel like some people may think that it's very easy to become a musician or become a rapper or just do anything when it comes to music. And some people just have that ear for music where if they wanted to become a musician, they can just do it just right off the bat.
Right,
But I feel
right.
like it's a combination of both the passion and how it sounds. It's a combination of both. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's less talent now because there are more tools and opportunities to use as in comparison to back in the day?
Less talent.
Well, what I mean with that is, now everybody can make a song and throw it out there independently.
Mhm.
Back in the day, you have to have some type of talent before a
Right.
label would sign you and throw you on the radio.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I do think that the talent is definitely different because there's multiple ways that you can get your name out there now. You have
Right.
social media, you have different music apps, so
Yeah.
you can send your music to people. I mean, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure back in the day you couldn't just go up and
Nope.
just tell someone I'm a musician and just here's my song. You actually had to have talent to get on the
And
radio and get
network.
signed
Yeah.
by a record label. So I definitely feel like the talent is different now because you have multiple ways to have people listen to your music and listen if you're a producer, listen to your beats. So it's
Right.
there's definitely multiple ways to make yourself heard.
Right. As a
Yeah.
producer, who would you want to produce for? Or who are you
I would
producing for right now, if you are?
right now I'm not producing for anyone right now, but in the future I would definitely like to produce for I heard J. Cole, he said that this album is his last album. I'm hoping it's not. So if J. Cole continues,
Maybe you can get him back out there.
maybe if he retires, I'm gonna try to get him back out there. So definitely J. Cole. Um, let me see, Domani, T.I.'s son, uh, YBN Corday.
So would it, and I mean, when I ask you who would you want to produce for, not necessarily artists that are out there, but would you want to break new talent, like, helping build artists that you feel like, oh my gosh, they're so talented, I want to work with them and build with them and build their career? Or is it
Definitely,
just, hey, I want to work with J. Cole and them?
yeah, definitely. I would definitely like to bring new talent, because I feel like there are a lot of underrated artists that
Yeah.
are not their voices are not being heard in the music industry,
Yes.
because of what the music industry is right now. We're listening to the same artist. So I definitely feel like if there is an artist that is underrated or that's up and coming and that they have that talent, I feel like if they should be out there, then I should be able to bring them to the forefront and put the light on them so that other people can know who this person is and what they're talking about.
Right. And, you know, I used to do that in my interviews back in the day. Whenever I thought somebody had the talent, I would just interview them and put it online or put it out there. Or I worked for a radio station. I you know, put them on the radio with their songs. Okay. So it was, for me, I've always been in service of the independent artist, simply because I feel like talent has to be put out there. Music is an art that people enjoy. It helps people through whatever times they got going on in their lives, especially now. So I'm definitely in favor of supporting the independent artist if their work ethic and their talent is right.
Right. Yep.
And so I see somebody asking questions. People, if you do have more questions, feel free to put them in the question box so I don't miss them and I can get to them later. But the person asked if you're going to put out your own music because they love your blends and your mixes. Are you planning on putting out your own music?
Yes, I am. In due time, I feel like once I've mastered producing, because I don't want to just make a beat and then just put it out online. But yes, I feel like once I've mastered production and that's good, then I can actually start putting out beats and sending them to people, and I can actually put out my own music and
instrumentals. Yeah,
exactly.
So, okay, you're 19 now. What is your goal for producing with artists? What at what age? When? A year? You know, you're locked up at home now. You can, you know, produce and get your skills up.
Right.
What is your aim?
My aim is 19. When I'm about 21, I'm gonna say 21.
21. Okay, so you got 2 years.
21 is the
latest. You can do faster than that.
Yeah, I can do faster than that. I'll say 20, but the latest I'm gonna say is 21. Yeah, the deadline is 21. So
if there's a talented artist right now, it's a singer, it's a male singer singing R&B / hip hop, and he hits you up on Instagram and you check his music out and you're blown away. Nobody knows him yet. He's a local talent. Would you not want to build your producing skills around a song for this person?
I would like to build my skills around him and just feed off of his energy, or we feed off of each other's energy and see where that connection can go. I feel like that's a very key part in communication, and just feed off of each other's energy, see where that energy can go, know where it could go. But yeah, I definitely feel like if there's someone out there who wants me to listen to their music or give them music or just give them feedback, and I'm definitely willing to do that.
Right. Well, the reason I asked that is because, I asked you first, what is your goal? You say 21, but I do believe that you can also get your skills up by working with people, because that gives a fresh perspective from the artist on how you as a producer can better yourself or cater to the artist and build a sound. Right. So I think maybe, and I'm sure a lot of artists in your area or in your circle. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can try out, just playing with some sounds and with a song instead of just having to put it out there. I think that would be interesting. And then you playing on your keyboard and playing the guitar, perhaps.
Yeah,
that would be really good.
Mm-hmm.
And so you said the acting. I think that would be something that you could do, because everything is opening up again. I'm actually, one of my clients is an actor. So really? I know people are filming again. So how would you approach that next to all of your gigs? Are you signed in with a casting agency or?
Well, I've actually done a little bit of acting when I was 13 or 14. I was on the first season of Empire. So I've had a little bit of acting under my belt. I'm not signed with an agency right now, but I've always watched TV and watched movies. So I felt like acting is just tapping in to emotion and just
Yeah.
just letting all the emotion out that you can, tapping into different characters and just playing other people. I feel like that would be fun for me. So I definitely feel like acting, I can attack that as hard as I attack DJing and as hard as I attack
Right.
producing.
Exactly that. You know, you can't just be slacking now because you feel like, okay, I'm good as a DJ and a producer now. That acting will come, come along. No, you have to put the
Exactly.
same hours of studying in there.
Right.
So if you could shadow one particular DJ who was an inspiration for you, if you could shadow him for like 6 months, who would it be, or her?
It would be, I would say DJ Scratch. Yeah, because DJ Scratch he's very technical when it comes to turntablism, scratching, mixing. He can do it all. So I feel like 6 months. Yeah, DJ Scratch. Yeah.
6 months. That should really get your skills up. Yeah, Scratch is one of the best.
Yes.
I'm definitely a big fan. I once went sneaker shopping with him in Amsterdam. He's a great person.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I think Scratch would be an excellent choice because he's also very. He's like he could be a teacher. So I mean, he is a teacher. So yeah, I think that would be really, really good. Where do you see yourself in? Somebody said 5 years, but I'm going to take it out there because I think the next 5 years you're still working on all your skills. Where do you see yourself in 15 years?
15 years.
You're 34 years old.
Okay.
What are you doing?
15 years. I would say I'm still DJing, still touring.
That's good.
I've been on TV.
And you're a vet.
Vet, yes. Oh, yeah, a vet. I've been on TV, whatever I'm doing on TV. Yeah, I've been on TV. I've mastered production. Let me see, what else?
Do you see yourself doing?
I want to get into some real estate as well. Owning businesses, real estate. Yeah. So yeah, that as well.
Good. I was gonna ask, do you see yourself doing something like Jazzy Jeff? Like what's it called? I can't even think of it right now. Where he brings everybody together and everybody's like, making music. And yes, Players Retreat. I couldn't think of it. Would you do something like that?
I've actually been to the Playlist Retreat twice. So I think that being that the Playlist Retreat is Jazzy Jeff's, I wouldn't want to take that away from him because that's his, that's like his kid. So unless when he gets older and if he was to hand that down to someone, okay, say you get to host the Playlist Retreat this year, I'm handing this down to you, then it's like, okay, I respect you for that. But I don't think I would take that away from him and just start that on my own. He's still doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, being 19 right now, I'm sure there's a lot of people your age or teenagers that look up to you, that see you do your thing and making a name for yourself, hitting you up like, hey man, I'm a fan. How do I do this? Do you feel pressure in being some type of role model? Like you have to behave in a certain way because you're in the spotlight?
I used to feel that way I think it was when I first started getting a little bit of notoriety that people were asking me for advice and just knowing that, okay, now I am starting to be a role model for people that are either my age or even younger than me. They're going to be looking up to me. So I definitely felt a little bit pressured by that when I was younger. But now it's pretty easy and I don't feel as much pressure as I used to feel because now if they have questions, I'm open to talk to them about it. Or if they want advice from me, I'm open to give them any advice that they need or want. So now I feel just open to tell them whatever they need to know. Well,
the reason I ask also is because, all your career now, you've worked and you've been in the spotlight while you're
Right.
also being a teenager.
Right.
Teenagers do things that not necessarily, you know, are okay. We try out things. We want to, you know, do things that mom and dad don't want us to.
Right.
But you seem to be a very well-raised young man. I can tell from your feed how you treat your parents and how you honor your parents as well.
Thank you.
So do you think it's easy because you being you is not a bad thing? You're not doing things that people shouldn't do? Yeah.
I think that, well, first off, let me say no one is perfect.
No,
so
of course not.
I feel like it's just how you were raised, I guess, is
Yeah.
and just asking questions and not just go and do it just because
Right.
you want to do it, because you don't know everything at a young age.
But we think we do.
Right, exactly. I had to experience that. Every teenager has to experience that. They go through that phase where they think that they know everything that's going on.
Right.
But just going to ask your parents for help, or just asking them questions. Okay, well, what do I do if this happens? Or I know you tell me not to do this, but what happens if I do this, or when I do this? So just knowing, or just asking your parents for help, it doesn't hurt. It's not gonna embarrass you in any way, because they're your parents. They know you better than they know yourself. Now I sound like my dad and my mom, but yeah, just asking them questions is not gonna hurt.
Right. So, you know, obviously I'm asking you questions that I don't normally ask other guests because you are young and you have started a career at a young age. Right. How do you deal with girls, fans? Because, you know, you have to balance, well, not your school anymore, but previously you had to balance your school, you had to balance your traveling, your, you know, your studying of your craft. How do you do that when girls hit you up? Because I'm sure you have a lot of female fans.
Normally, I don't get into relationships, because it's like, okay, I'm traveling now, and I know the person that I am now, and who's to say that in years to come I won't be bigger than what I am now, and then girls is going to be even more trouble than it is right now. So I just talk to them.
You're not bothered.
Exactly. I'm not really bothered by it. I just talk to them like they were a friend. I mean, I'm not really looking for a relationship right now.
That's good. You're young. Live your life.
I'm trying to live my life as much as I can. So I'm not really looking for a relationship right now.
Right. Well, the reason I also ask is because obviously I've talked to a lot of artists, and I've dealt with artists in the industry. It's easy if you have your high school sweetheart and you build a career and they've been there, to know that they've been there to support you and they don't want you for your money. When you're older, you're already successful. I'm going to assume that you have a nice income from all the stuff that you're doing. Wouldn't it be hard for you to figure out who's genuine and who's not? I mean, for everyone, it is that question, but
a little bit. It's kind of hard to pick the ones that really want to know you for who you really are, and are you just here because of my name and what I do when I'm working. So it could be hard to figure that out, but just talking and getting to know someone and knowing, like, okay, this is a real friend. I can
or they love music like I do. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. I can trust you to know that you're here for me and not DJ Prince. So it could be hard sometimes.
Yeah, and I'm sure your parents have had that conversation with you.
They
and
have.
Not just with girls, but also with guys. I mean, everybody wants to have a piece of you when you're successful, and you have to be really careful to pick the right people to build a team with you as you are going to be even more successful.
Exactly.
There are a few questions in the question box. Well, first one from my good friend DJ Rob Manga. He asked, do you collect vinyls?
Yes, I do collect vinyl. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 crates of vinyl in my music room right now as we speak. You can't play vinyl on Rain equipment, but on 1200s, of course, you could play. But yeah, I do have a very big collection of vinyl, and I am still growing my collection. So yes, I do collect vinyl.
Okay, good. That was I was also curious about that.
Yep.
Then I have some questions here. Let me see. Okay, this is another friend of mine, Lucas. He asked, did the Corona quarantine lead to new ideas and insights for you? That's a good question.
Yes, it did. It definitely led to new ideas. I started a YouTube page. Well, I always had a YouTube page, but I started posting on it more regularly than what I used to post on it. So now I post on it every week. My YouTube channel is DJ Prince 01. So I do basically a news segment on that channel, just talking about what happened in the week. But I always wanted to do YouTube. I guess I just never really picked out a
Took the
time.
time. Yeah.
Exactly when I wanted to do videos. But yeah, that was one idea that I had about or during the pandemic.
Right. And that took off because everybody's enjoying the videos, obviously.
Thank you, guys.
What is your favorite type of music that you feel more drawn to from Lil K 1982?
My favorite type of music that
I would say hip hop, but
hip hop, of course. I knew hip hop was like a no brainer. I was trying to figure something, like say something outside of hip hop. I think the next thing that I would say outside of hip hop would be pop and then reggae.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great. So Lucas just said, super cool. We'll check it out. Would be a great inspiration for me, I think. And this is me. Here comes in my kind of networking thing. Lucas actually lives over here in the Netherlands. So I think for you, and Lucas also produces, but also sings. So that might be a great connection for you to expand internationally, because if you work with international artists, when the gates open up again, it'll be easier for you to move around and build your network. That might be, I don't know, maybe you've been doing that already, but I think you could do very well outside of the US, especially producing for artists from Europe or Africa or even Asia.
Right.
So that's definitely something that you can look into while you're at home.
Yep. Yeah, it is. It is.
Let me see. How would you define success? What would be success to you?
Success to me is knowing that I'm doing what I love, conquering it, and just keeping the drive and the will open to do more things that I know that I can do. I don't really define success by, okay, I'm doing this and I'm succeeding at it because people know who I am and I've done money, this. Just base success off of what you've already done. I don't really try to or think that that's what defines success. I think success is finding something that you love, continuing to do it, continuing to get better at it, keeping the will to learn, and learning different things that you never thought that you can do.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. That's a beautiful definition of success that I think more people should be aware of, because success defined by today's capitalist society is not always healthy for everyone to have that goal as success. Here's a great question from CJ Tyson Music. Are there any avenues or opportunities you can talk about for openly queer POC artists, people of color artists?
Any avenues, opportunities
that you know of and that you can share?
I don't think there's any that I know of. But
I think that if I can throw in my 2 cents, I think any avenue or opportunity should be, could be approached.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I feel like that should be open for all of you guys, or it should be approached. Right. Yeah, there aren't any that I know of, like right off the top of my head, but I do feel like any avenue or opportunity should be open.
Yeah. same as well. And you know what? If people dismiss you or your music, they could have a good reason saying the music doesn't fit or they don't have the space.
Right.
I don't think you would want to have an avenue that only, you know, listens to you because you're a queer POC artist. I think you should try CJ Tyson music. I think you should just believe in your own art, regardless of who you are and what your preferences are, and throw your art out there. And there's always going to be people that will appreciate the art for the art and the artist behind it. So that are my 2 cents in that. Yeah, just throw it out to every opportunity and avenue that you come across.
Right.
And I think if you believe in yourself, then it'll work out. You'll get there.
Exactly.
Last of all, we're coming towards the end of the talk. I think you're a very well-spoken, talented young man. I
thank
give
you so much.
very, very much respect to your parents. If I ever get a chance to say hi to them, I will. Hopefully, I might be in Indianapolis again, and I'll definitely hit you up.
All right, looking forward to it.
Yeah, wait, there's another girl, another question from Block Girl. What made you want to be a DJ?
Well, music was always a part of my life since I was a very young age. I never thought that I was going to be a DJ. Well, yeah, the thought never came to mind. I tried all sports, but eventually, just over time, I knew that music was just always there. So
right.
I see my dad playing music at a birthday party before. I think it was for my mom. My dad wasn't a DJ, but he just had a very large music collection.
Right.
So,
right.
Like I said, music was just always there. And when I was about 12, that's when I picked up DJing. And I always knew old school hip hop and just a bunch of different genres of music. So I felt like it just made sense to be able to become a DJ.
Yeah. No, I kind of figured out that it was your dad or your mom who would push that onto you. I mean, the reason I'm in music is because my dad was a musician. He was a guitarist and a producer as well. So, you know, he gave that to me. So I grew up hearing music. Ever since I was in my mom's belly, there was a guitar playing outside. Nice. So, yeah, I came out hearing music. He played in bands. He toured with his band. So, you know, my brother doesn't have that side. He appreciates music, but he's not into music. So my dad passed it on to me. And I'm sure your dad passed it on to you, as you may pass on to your children at some point.
Right.
So what is one of the life mottos that you live by that you can give out to the world and whoever's watching?
My life motto is no lagging. No lagging means no lagging, and just life in general. Don't lag at anything that you're doing. Be the best at everything that you put your mind to. Because if you believe that you can do it, then you can do it. If someone is telling you that you can't do it, or someone doesn't believe that you can do it, just block that out, because there's always going to be that little bump in the road where somebody doesn't believe in you. But if you put your mind to anything that you think you can do, it can be conquered. So no lagging is my life motto.
No lagging. I'm with that. And I want to add to that yes, he had parents that were supportive of his passion. If you don't have them, my parents never wanted to support me in what I did, even though my dad was a musician, but I still kept doing it until they saw, okay, this is really her passion. They will get with the program, and eventually it's about your happiness. And also, if you're 30, 40, 50 years old and you feel like, I want to pick up a turntable right now, do it. Because nobody says that you have to be young in order to start. Samuel Jackson didn't start acting or didn't get his breakthrough until he was in his 40s. So let's all keep it real and do what you feel like you want to do in life and be happy. No lagging. Yeah. So thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me. I truly appreciate it. Since you have your connection with Big Daddy Kane, put in a good word for me.
I will.
He's on my far bucket list. So for me to know you, to know him, is just like, you know what, I'm just gonna shoot my shot. No lagging.
Okay.
Thank your parents for me, and I'm definitely a big fan and supportive. If you need anything from me, let me know. I'm here on this side if you need things out here. And keep doing what you do and be an inspiration to everybody, you know.
Thank you. I will.
Thank you.
I've seen a few people ask what my YouTube is.
Your YouTube, yes. What's your YouTube?
My YouTube name is DJ Prince01.
Is it not in your bio on your page?
I don't think it is.
Instagram?
No, I don't think it is, but I'm gonna add it.
Okay, I don't know if you know Hip Hop Collector, but
I think
he's in here.
I do.
Because he got the biggest vinyl collection of everybody in the whole world.
Okay.
So, yeah, you should follow him or at least check out his page. He's amazing. Like, I should probably get him on here at some point, but yeah, I don't know if he's up for that. He's actually over here as well. He's in Belgium. So, yeah, when you come out here, we'll go visit him, and you can just go all out in his vinyl paradise.
That sounds good. I'll be looking forward to it.
Right. We'll be here waiting until you're able to come over here. Have an amazing day out there, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.
All right. You too. Thank you very much.
All right. Stay safe. Bye.
You too. Bye.
So thanks again, DJ Prince. That was amazing. I was really excited to talk to him and get to know about him and his young journey. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I have another great guest on Wednesday, Shanti Does from the ATL. Definitely always good to talk to her. And I have some more great people coming up. So yeah, stay tuned, stay healthy, and thank you again for the support. And I hope everybody has a great day, night, or morning, depending on where you are from. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.